Hello there and welcome back to this modern web front-end development by example course. We're beginning section 6, where we're going to be writing some tests for our previous application that we created in the last section, our voting application. So anyway, without further ado, let's get right into this. Alright, so today we're going to get started with our sixth section, which is going to be what are unit tests. We're going to start with the lesson 1. So unit testing is the act of writing software that will test our software. Sort of makes sense. There are a ton of types of tests, but the two main ones are unit testing and integration testing. So yes, there are other types of testing that we can definitely use. So end-to-end testing is one of them. But again, there are a lot. But essentially, those are the two main ones. The main idea is that unit tests test individual units of functionality, not worrying about testing other dependent parts of the code. So we don't really test the way part of the code will work with another part of the code. We just test a single unit of our code, mainly a function. So we test a single function. That's sort of, it's pretty loosely defined about what a unit test is and what an integration test is, but that's the general idea. So here I have a So we have a unit test passing and then no integration test. So here each drawer works. We tested each drawer, they work correctly, but we didn't really test to make sure that they work together. And then that's why we have the error where it can't really open. So that's just something to note. All right, so how do we write tests? While we can write tests from scratch, so without actually using any different libraries or frameworks to help us, it isn't a very good idea. We don't write other parts from scratch, so other parts of our application, like writing the backend, we don't necessarily write it, just using Node, built-in HTTP server. We use a framework like Express that we used to actually build our application, our two previous applications. We use the Express framework for our backend, which is what we say here, instead of vanilla code, and we will later use Bootstrap to add better visuals for our front end. So our front-end design that we're going to use for the CSS design, essentially, not really the CSS, I guess, the HTML design, we're going to be using Bootstrap later on, hooking that up, which essentially is just a bunch of CSS and a JavaScript code. We're going to use that, hook that up, and that's going to make the designing our application, making the actual front-end portion much easier. So it's going to making it much easier. In the same way, we will be using a framework, Mocha, for our tests.